Almost a decade ago, the Mandalorians began preying on the Republic, bringing the fires of war to many planets along the Outer Rim. Their predations continued, winning victory after victory, until the Republic finally begged the Jedi Council for aid.
But only some of the Jedi answered the call, like I did.
Indeed, the Jedi Council counseled caution and patience to assess the Mandalorian threat as the Outer Rim burned.
And Revan and Malak refused to wait.
Two Jedi Knights, Revan and Malak, defied the Jedi Council. They challenged the Mandalorian fierceness and brutality on the battlefield with a viciousness of their own. Revan's entrance into the conflict marked the true beginning and end of the war. It was Revan who drove the Mandalorians back into the unknown regions.
One year after the final battle of the Mandalorian Wars, Revan returned from the unknown regions, bringing with him a Sith armada. Corrupted by a powerful Sith Lord named Vitiate, Revan declared himself Dark Lord of the Sith, and set to waging war with the Republic. And thus, the Jedi Civil War began. Almost immediately, the galaxy erupted into conflict, each day bringing forth yet another devastating battle. Billions died, but, spearheaded by the efforts of Darth Revan and his apprentice Malak, the Sith Empire began to take ground. Revan's tactical genius, which had been instrumental in the Republic's victory over the Mandalorians, now worked against them, and 2 years into the war, the Republic was brought to its knees. In desperation, the Jedi Council would draft a daring plan to deprive the Sith of their powerful and charismatic leader. A strike team, with Jedi Knight Bastila Shan at its head, would enter the Sith flagship and battle their way to the command deck. His voice betraying nothing, Revan would strike down all who approached him with a casual ease, before readying himself to duel Bastila and her few remaining companions.
You cannot win, Revan.
Suddenly, an earth-shattering wave of energy would shake the bridge, throwing both Revan and the remaining Jedi off their feet. Malak, separated from his master during the battle, had betrayed Revan by ordering the guns of his flagship, the Leviathan, to fire upon Revan's vessel. Miraculously, Bastila survived, and with Revan lying near her, she had to make a difficult choice. Let the Sith Lord die, or give the former hero of the Republic a second chance. Bastila, fueled with emotion, would draw upon the Force, feeding her life force into Revan in an attempt to keep him alive. This act would result in an unbreakable Force bond forming between the two, a foresight of the connection that they would eventually share. Captured, rattled, and helpless, Revan was brought to the Jedi Enclave on Dantooine, where the Jedi Masters wiped his memory, thus reprogramming him a new identity, one as a soldier whose utmost loyalty lied in the Republic. Desperate to finally uncover the source of Revan's seemingly unending fleet and learn from him the key to defeating Darth Malak, the Council decided to rely upon Bastila Shan's Force bond with Revan to draw out his memories and find the answers. Despite being emotionally conflicted about the matter, Bastila agreed to take on the role of keeping Revan's identity hidden, and thus began the events of the acclaimed Star Wars RPG, Knights of the Old Republic. crash, strong enough to shake the interior of the ship, rattles through its systems. And in the midst of battle, a Republic soldier wakes up, disoriented by the sudden action, and in a frantic hurry to clear his mind. But, to his surprise, he remembers nothing. Despite his best efforts, he finds that he remembers neither who he was to be assigned to what he presumed to be a Hammerhead-class capital ship, nor what he was doing, or rather what he was supposed to be doing. But before he can give it much thought, the door to his room bursts open. With a start, the soldier reaches to his blaster, relaxing when a fellow soldier steps into the room. Trask Olgo, he remembers, peering intently at the man in front of him. A brief conversation ensues. The ship they were on was indeed a Hammerhead-class capital ship, namely the Endar Spire. But more intriguing was that its commander was a Jedi, and a famous one at that. Everyone knew Bastila Shan, the hero of the Republic, the Jedi who had single-handedly defeated Darth Revan, and whose value was apparently large enough that the apprentice of the Sith Lord Darth Malak himself was searching for her. With Olgo's help, the Republic soldier splits off to escape the imploding ship, which, he surmises, has mere seconds left in it. Cornered by Dark Jedi, Trask Olgo makes a final sacrifice, closing the door behind him to buy his brother-in-arms precious time to escape. Along with Carthanasi, the soldier eventually escapes the ship, crash-landing onto the planet of Terrace. Unfortunately, Bastila is not so lucky, and lands in the Undercity, where she is found and captured by the Black Vulkars, a local gang. Thinking her to be but a high-ranking Republic officer, the Black Vulkars imprison her to be used as a prize in the Teresian season opener, a prestigious swoop race. Despite having never flown a swoop bike before, at least not that he could remember, the Republic soldier, with the help of the Vulkars' rival gang, the Hidden Becks, manages to win the race. However, through a pure stroke of luck, the Black Vulkars manage to discern Bastila's true identity and refuses to hand over the prize. In a rush of air, Bastila frees herself, and alongside the Republic soldier, kills both the Black Vulkar leader and the remaining soldiers. After the battle, the soldier greets Bastila, explaining how he and Carthanasi had been looking for her. Bastila, on the other hand, manages only to stare, for if her eyes were not mistaken, the being that stood before her was none other than Darth Revan, former Dark Lord of the Sith. With a renewed sense of urgency, Bastila, Carth, and Revan escape Terrace, traveling to the lush green planet of Dantooine, where the Jedi Enclave is located. And, for the first time he could remember, the Republic soldier felt that his life was about to change forever.
The dark side is strong in this place. I can feel its power. Is this wise? The ancient Jedi sealed this archway. If we pass beyond this door, we can never go back. The Order will surely banish us. Are the secrets of the Star Forge so valuable? Can its power truly be worth the risk?
The path you have chosen to walk is difficult. Intensive training will prepare you physically for the demands of the Order. Meditation will teach you to channel the power of the Force. To truly understand the way of the Jedi, you must open your mind to knowledge. Seek wisdom in the teachings of the great masters of our Order. A Jedi is never alone. Others in the Order will always stand by you. You and Bastila share a special bond. Do not be afraid to turn to her when you need help in your training. The way of the Jedi is difficult. It requires great discipline. Yet even though you are a mere apprentice, your potential is unlimited, and your progress amazing. If Malak is not stopped, the Republic will fall, and the Jedi will be hunted to extinction. The galaxy will enter a time of darkness and tyranny, not seen for 1,000 generations.
Revan, Bastila, Karth, Mission, Zalbar, Canderous, and Jolee would form the crew of the Ebon Hawk, and together embark on a journey unlike any other in the Star Wars universe. One that is a tale of friendship and hope, a saga of darkness and light, an examination of morality and corruption, a study of past sorrows giving way to future joys, all these things and more, framed by the journeys of Revan, who wanted nothing more than to keep the galaxy and those he loved safe. Together, the crew would endure the trials of Tatooine's Dune Sea, uncover the mysteries of the utopian society of Manaan, trudge through the thick Warshire forest of Kashyyyk, and encounter firsthand the power of the dark side on Korriban. Piece by piece, planet by planet, they would complete the star map, and with it, their destinies as peacekeepers of the galaxy. During the journey, the force bond between Revan and Bastila would grow ever stronger, and in the moments they shared, Bastila would find that Revan was no longer the monster he once was. As a Jedi, he was kind and compassionate, but at the same time, willing to leap into danger at moment's notice. Despite herself, Bastila began admiring his passion and unrivaled power, the ease with which he handled both the light and the dark, embracing both, but always completely in balance. And through a long and drawn-out experience, Bastila would eventually admit her love for Revan, and Revan an unwavering devotion towards her. Even still, Bastila turned away such feelings, thinking that if she were to succumb to them, Revan, fueled by passion, could turn back to the dark side. She swore then that for Revan's sake, she would stay strong. If only she had realized how wrong she was, that, by suppressing the love she felt for Revan, she was only hastening her own fall. For then, the darkness came, and everything changed. "We're caught," Karth shouted. The Ebon Hawk jerked to a stop, as if an invisible force had reached out and grabbed it in midair. The ship turned slowly, its viewport still showing nothing. Then, a ship's figure came into view, and Revan's heart almost stopped. It was the Leviathan, Darth Malak's flagship. The crew gazed at the Leviathan as its figure grew steadily larger in the Ebon Hawk's viewport. Almost instinctually, Revan and Bastila knew that this would be a pivotal point not only in their relationship, but also in their lives. For Revan, the Leviathan would be the place where he would discover the truth behind his old life, where one decision would change everything. For Bastila, the Leviathan would be the place where the tormenting fears haunting her sleep would come into fruition, where the life she'd secretly dreamt of but never imagined possible would meet its fiery end, shattering before her very eyes. Through the genius of the young Twi'lek, Mission, the crew escaped, only to be stopped by Darth Malak himself just before reaching the docking bay. What happened next can only be described as the ultimate revelation.
Darth Malak.
Down you go!
I hope you weren't thinking of leaving so soon, Bastila. I've spent far too much energy hunting down you and your companions to let you get away from me now. Besides, I had to see for myself if it was true. Even now, I can hardly believe my eyes. Tell me, why did the Jedi spare you? Is it vengeance you seek at this reunion?
What? You mean you don't know? All this time and you still haven't figured it out.
I wonder how long you would have stayed blind to the truth. Surely some of what you once were must have surfaced by now. Even the combined power of the Jedi Council couldn't keep your true identity buried forever, could it?
The Jedi do not believe in killing their prisoners. No one deserves execution, no matter what their crimes.
The Council would not normally accept an adult for training, but this is a special case.
They say the Force can do terrible things to a mind. It can wipe away your memories and destroy your very identity.
Tatooine. Kashyyyk. Manaan. Korriban. Revan visited each of these worlds searching for clues to reveal the hidden location of the Starforge.
The lure of the dark side is difficult to resist. I fear this quest to find the Starforge could lead you down an all too familiar path.
What greater weapon is there than to turn an enemy to your cause, to use their own knowledge against them?
Revan's mind spun. What? He was Revan? Sith Lord, mass murderer, bane of the Jedi, a traitor to his own kind. He was all of these and more. Although surprised, Revan found himself strangely at peace with the truth behind his old life. As if after all this time, it was still a part of him. Where then was this inner pain coming from? Bastila, he thought. Why hadn't she told me? He felt hurt, betrayed, by the woman he had thought he'd loved. Love. The word drifted in his mind for a few moments, and it hit him. She had been afraid. She was trying to protect me. Contrary to Malak's expectations, Revan forgave Bastila and the Jedi Council for what they had done to him. And enraged, Malak attacked. The three fought with a fierce intensity, but in the end, neither Revan nor Bastila proved strong enough to defeat the Dark Lord. But even before the thought had fully formed in Revan's mind, Bastila force-pushed him out of the chamber, sealing the door behind him. In a last act of redemption, she would hold Malak off, while the rest of the crew escaped. With the location of the Starforge, Revan and the crew of the Ebon Hawk would arrive on Lehon, a planet incredibly strong in the Force that had once been the homeworld of the Infinite Empire. With the help of the Rakatan tribes still remaining on the planet, Revan, alongside Jolee and Juhani, entered the Temple of the Ancients, the source of the disruption field, which had forced them to crash land their ship. Inside, the three would find their way to the disruptor field controls, only to be confronted by an unexpected sight. Bastila. She had fallen to the dark side and sworn herself to Malak's service. By use of torture and preying on her arrogance, pride, and love for Revan, Malak had convinced her that the Jedi were holding her back, restricting her from reaching her full potential. The disruption field now down, Revan and the others would join the Republic's assault on the Starforge, the fate of the galaxy teetering precariously on their shoulders. For the others, it was a fight between light and dark, but for Revan, the battle was a personal conflict, a fight to save the woman he loved. The Battle of Rakata Prime, as it would come to be known, would turn out to be one of the bloodiest battles in Republic history. With Bastila's battle meditation working against them, the Republic casualties began to increase, their ships going down one by one to the brutal efficiency and sheer size of the Sith fleet. On the other hand, the crew of the Ebon Hawk, spearheaded by the efforts of Revan, would lead a strike force of Jedi into the Starforge itself. A long battle would ensue, and Revan would become separated from the rest of his companions. Fighting his way through the Starforge's defenses, he would eventually reach Bastila's chamber.
Revan, I knew you'd come for me. You're wasting your time. I've seen the Jedi for what they are, weak and afraid. The Sith are the true masters of the Force. You've forgotten that lesson, Revan. Now you must pay the price. Here on the Starforge, the power of the dark side is at its strongest. This time, you will not defeat me.
But Revan would not give up. He knew a remnant of the woman he once knew and loved existed in the being in front of him, no matter what she thought. Reluctantly, Revan would raise his blade, besting Bastila 3 times, before finally...
This is not possible. You have rejected the dark side. You are a weak and pathetic servant of the light. How can you still stand against me? Why can't I defeat you? Yes, I see you speak the truth. I am no match for you. Please, for the sake of what we once shared, do not make me suffer. End my life quickly. There is no other way. What other choice do you have? I have fallen to the dark side. I am the apprentice to the Dark Lord himself. You cannot let me live. You were a special case. The Council had no other choice. They needed you alive so they could discover the location of the Starforge. It was an act of desperation. It was my responsibility to watch over you, to make sure you did not slip back into your evil ways. I was supposed to protect you from the dark side. I suppose you're right. If the path I have chosen is that of the dark side, I don't see any way I could atone for what I've done. I deserve to die. You love me. There was a time I yearned for, and yet dreaded to hear those words. I loved you too, but I could never face who you were. Malak knew how I felt. Any part of the light that was within me would be extinguished when I killed you. But what good is love? It cannot save me from the sea of blackness I am drowning in. I have betrayed everything I ever believed in. How can I atone for that? Yes, I could join you in your battle against the Dark Lord. That alone would not make up for all I have done. Yet it would be a step in the right direction. But how would you be able to trust me? How do you know I wouldn't turn on you when you faced Darth Malak? How do you know the dark side wouldn't make me betray you again? You play a dangerous game. Are you certain you wish to take this risk? I could end your life and gain Malak's favor with a single stroke of my lightsaber. You are brave, and some would say foolish. But you are also right. The dark side has not wholly consumed me. I cannot raise my blade against you. You will go on to defeat Malak. Of this I have little doubt. You will have gone from being the Sith Lord himself to the savior of our galaxy. And you said you loved me. This may not be the best time to say it, but I love you too, with all my heart. After this? No. Nothing could make me feel safer than to be loved by you. You should go. Malak awaits. This isn't over yet. for any of us. I should stay here, though. If we face Malak, I am afraid his dark presence will overwhelm me. It would not be wise to expose myself to such temptation. I'm sorry, but the risk is too great. I am not wholly free of the dark side's shadow, not yet. But you are more than a match for the Dark Lord. I understand that now. I will stay here in this chamber and use my battle meditation to aid the Republic fleet. I am their only hope of destroying the Star Forge and ending the Sith menace. You must go and face Malak, but you have to hurry. Once I turn the battle in the Republic's favor, we won't have much time to escape the Star Forge before it's destroyed. Good luck, my love, and may the Force be with you.
Redeemed, Bastila Shan would use her battle meditation to help the Republic fleet destroy the Star Forge, while Revan went off to confront Darth Malak. As Bastila had predicted, Revan would defeat Malak. Malak would die. The two old friends together until the end. Sometime after the war, Revan and Bastila, even against the insistence of the Jedi Council, would become married and settle on Coruscant. Revan, the prodigal knight, and his lover, the Jedi Knight Bastila Shan, would become two of the most famed Jedi in all of the Order's vaunted history, their legacy ringing through the halls of time.